Hello Libra, and welcome to your reading for October the 15th through the 16th, October the 16th through the 22nd, and happy birthday still. It's your last week for your birthday, so it's the last week you're going to be first. You'll go to the back of the queue next week. But this week you will get the extra card, and we'll do a little exercise a bit later with that. So anyway, thank you for all the love last week, all the subscriptions. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Please, if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. And I love feedback. I always respond to comments and feedback. So I'd really appreciate it if you give me feedback, and if you like this video, a thumbs up. And if you feel inspired, please do share. So without further ado, I shuffled the cards and 7 cards popped out. Now it's the general reading for the week, and there's no particular order. It's fluid. It can happen. These the energies of the cards can happen at any time during the week. We do have the big news this week, and it is the new moon in Libra. So it's very important to do an intention, you know, and to see things positively. Don't focus on what's not working, focus on what's working. And what's really interesting is your first card, we pulled out the Fool. It's a lovely set. Look, I don't know if you can see it. All the gold is, you know, it's a Botticelli set, and it's a collector's set, but it's beautiful. I love using these gilded cards. Anyway, so the Fool. Now the Fool is no fool, FYI. The Fool is someone who's about to embark on a journey, and it's kind of indicative of what's going on. First of all, we're in the numerology #1 year, which is new beginnings. You know, the new moon is coming in. That's a new beginning. I mean, it's in Libra, and it's the new moon in Libra is all about relationships, you know. So the sun and the moon are in Libra. It's going to be a really interesting time. I'm going to get into the astrological aspects in a bit as we go along, you know, through the reading. But this is the Fool now. He's he's depicted in different decks in different ways. Right here's like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's his kind of, you know, that's how he's been depicted here. And we all know he was really intelligent, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but it's kind of based on the court jester, right? And the jester, back in the day, had the king's ear, so people actually revered him and feared him. They never wanted to get on the bad side of the jester, because the jester actually, you know, he entertained the king, and the king loved him, and sometimes he asked his advice. So people were very wary of how close he was to royalty, and so they were very careful around him. Now, he looked at life with levity, right? And it was one big adventure. So when this card comes up, it's saying, listen, change is going to happen, and there's a lot of change and turmoil going through happening right now, particularly with the transits, you know, the astrological transits. So there's a lot of change. Now listen, if you have some, you know, drastic change, if something happens, this is saying embrace the change. Now, the Fool is the kind of guy that will jump off a cliff and just know that he will be carried by the wind gently down, much like a leaf is when it falls from the top of a tree. So it's that kind of energy. It's like, you know, like a lot of people, look, change is difficult for a lot of people, right? So sometimes when people are faced with change, drastic change, sudden change, which is Uranus, and Uranus is opposite. Okay, so Mercury and Jupiter now in Scorpio. Uranus is going to be opposing Mercury and Jupiter in Scorpio, and it's going to be opposing the Sun and Moon in Libra. So secrets are going to come out, right? And Uranus is the planet of deep, dark secrets and sudden surprises. And so let's see what will happen. So there's definitely change afoot, and it's all in how we look at that change. So if we can look at the changes, oh wow, this is exciting. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know if I'm going to get another job, but I do know that this is an adventure, right? That's the kind of energy. Now you can be, oh no, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Which we have, right? We have these opposing views. We have the Five of Pentacles, which is feeling money worries and feeling like you don't have enough, and where's the money going to come from for the next bill. I can't stress how important it is not to be in this space, right? Not to be in deprivation and worrying about money. And I know sometimes when you're short, it's hard to do that, but it's so important. Right now, we're in this very powerful manifesting energy. And so it's really important to have your intentions on positive, seeing an optimistic future. And listen, maybe you can't pay your bills, right? So what's the point in worrying about it? It's waste of energy, isn't it? So when this card comes up, I'm always saying, listen, if you can't pay for it, if you can't pay your bills, there's no point in worrying about it. You're just going to have to put it out of your mind and do something creative. It's very important to create things in this energy, because whatever you will create could very well pay the bills, but you can't do it with that in mind. So you have to put the worry down. Worrying about the bills won't get them paid. So you have to just say, okay, let me just deal with that later, right? And let me start creating something. So we have the Queen, this is interesting, right? We have the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords right next to each other. Now, the Queen of Pentacles is a very creative person. She's very, this is about worldly possessions. This is about the planet. This is about material things. That's the word I was looking for. This is about material things. I always think of her as Gaia, right? She's the queen of the earth realm. So to me, she's about abundance. She loves pretty things. She loves, growing things. She loves creating things. She loves cooking and looking after people, sometimes to the detriment of herself sometimes. But the Queen of Swords next to her is like intellect, ideas, speaking her truth, and speaking out. Now, she's gorgeous, right? And men are really attracted to her. However, she has a sharp tongue. So when I see her coming in, this is like about ideas too. And she's really intelligent. She comes out with these creative ideas. And with her, I feel that you're going to get some really brilliant ideas right now. And we still have that big grand fire trine, which is all about ideas and innovative, inventions. And if you can focus on creativity, creating something, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, do something that feeds your soul. We're coming, listen, Uranus is about waking your soul up, right? So feed your soul, right? So that you're not in deprivation, Libra. You don't want to be in deprivation, so you must do something creative, whatever you love. Now, you've got the Justice card. And the justice is about being fair and just. And it's represented by, you know, she's got the scales and she's got the sword, right? So she's ready to judge, and she's ready to pass judgment. Now, when this justice card comes in, I always think to myself, listen, whatever decision that you have, first of all, it could be a litigation that you're in. It could be, you could be in litigation that's going to go your way if you have, this is a karmic card. I always think of this as a karmic card, and it's number 8. It's asking you for balance, right? So a couple of things. I would think I would balance my life, but if I was making a decision, I would make it with the idea of the karmic value, and it has to be for the higher good of everyone. You know, not for, you know, when Jupiter goes into, Jupiter's gone into Scorpio, but with Jupiter in Scorpio, right, it's bigger. It's about, Jupiter's huge, right? It's about us, we. And it's funny because Libra is about me, I. Where am I in the relationship? It's all about relationships, right? So this is asking us to look at the high. If we make a decision, if we have something to decide, if we get an opportunity, a job or something like, or an idea, it must be for the higher good of everyone. It can't just be for me, I. And then things will really work out brilliantly for you. Now, also, this new moon in Libra can bring in a new love, right? And it can also be a little confusing because it can be, am I going to leave? If you're in a relationship, should I leave him? It's be 1 minute, 1 minute it'll be, oh, I'm leaving him. And the next minute, no, I'm going to stay. And then the next minute, no, I'm leaving him. It can be, the energies are very kind of tumultuous this week in that kind of area. And everything will be about relationships. So with the new moon in Libra, you can meet someone, right? And with Jupiter in Scorpio, it's like bigger, better, more, us, we. And then, you know, we're moving into a time where we want a soul connection. We're going to want, we're not going to be bothered with superficial things. It's got to be a deep soul connection, or it's not going to be worth it. We're not even going to bother. We're going to have that longing for that soul connection. So it's quite interesting. And then we have my favorite night, which is the Knight of Pentacles. Now, this could be a new wonderful person coming into your life, you know, an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, but that could be. But when I see this always tells me that, of course, knights are all about movement, right? But this knight is standing still, and he is eyeing the land strategically. And, you know, he's really weighing the pros and cons, right? So when he moves forward strategically and methodically. So this is saying, yes, move forward, don't stand still, keep going and keep doing what you're doing. And whatever you're doing, do it for the higher good of everyone. And really, look, this is also about Jupiter going into Scorpio. It's awakening. With Jupiter going into Scorpio and it being opposite Uranus, right? It's about this deep soul awakening, right? It's that longing to be in a soul connection. It's about community, and it's about our soul waking up. And this is kind of on the realm. Of course, you know, Scorpio is also about sexuality and sensuality. So we could have some, I think we already have actually in Hollywood, some famous people of, you know, their sexual secrets have come out. Things may come into the light. But this is also about, you know, waking up and seeing things that aren't the way they should be. You know, we're going to see secrets come out, you know, for public figures, you know, things that have been hidden. People in power, we're going to see things come out into the open. And I think it's going to be a time where we're all going to come together and speak our truth, right? The Queen. And I always say when the Queen of Swords comes up, it is about speaking your truth, but it's also about softening the way you speak. Remember that. She is intellectual, but she has a cutting tongue. So when she comes out, it's like, yes, tell your truth, but don't do it with kindness and compassion. Don't hurt people intentionally or unintentionally. It's like soften your language and your delivery, right? So we also have the the 8. Yes. Wow, I do see, Libra, I do kind of think you've got a new love coming in, and it's really apropos for the new moon in Libra. It looks like a new love is coming in for you. The Ace of Chalices, which is the Ace of Cups, which is my cup floweth over. It's a beautiful, deep connection. If you're in a relationship, it could mean, or a friendship, it could mean that a deeper connection with a deeper meaning. And of course, that's very, you know, Jupiter and Scorpio. It could be a very, you know, during this time, I just want to say it's very important to be with like-minded people, to connect with your tribe, as we put it. It's going to be important to focus on people's similarities and not their differences. We're coming out of a fractured time, and we're going to be moving into all-inclusive. I'm tempted to tell you a story that happened to me last week. But it's a little political, so I'd rather not. But it was I'm not going to touch on the politics. I want to stay neutral. But it was interesting how when you're in a crowd and something political is said, and how that crowd, they were all seemed to be as one, and everyone's smiling, and then all of a sudden politics is mentioned and it becomes conflictual. So it was really interesting to me, and it was very fascinating to see how that transpired. But what I'm saying is, things are going to change. We're in this very tumultuous, changing, time, and the energies are all kind of opposing, but they also work together. It's really interesting. So with this new moon, I'm going to ask everyone to please focus on what's working in your life. Don't think about your problems. Don't worry about your finances. If you can't pay for something, then what's the point in worrying, right? Because that's not going to solve it. What's really going to be wonderful is if we can, I always say this, when you're in creation, when you're creating something, you're channeling source energy, and you are in it, and you're in the zone, and you're creating something, and you're so engaged in the moment. So if you can take on something that's creative, something that, really feeds your soul, floats your boat, whatever it is, focus on creativity, wonderful things will happen. You'll be focusing on creating something and not worried about, the physical realm. We're not here for very long. It's no point in just wasting our energy. But I see wonderful change. I see I see a new love coming in, possibly, or a deeper connection with somebody that if you are already in a relationship with. Now, this is what I want to do for you guys. I want you to, if you have a burning question, or you have a dilemma, something you're not sure about, and this must be a very specific question, because if you say, should I go here or should I go there, the answer's not going to be clear. It has to be, is this for the higher good of me and for everyone if I do this, right? It has to be one option. So take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly exhale through the mouth. Ask the question in your head. And I am going to please answer this question for Libra. A clear, concise answer, please, for Libra's question. Most of you, for Libra's question. Those of you who get this answer will know. What will be the best answer for Libra's question? Oh, there it is. It's up to you. I guess this doesn't kind of work anyway for a whole group. But anyway, it's up to you guys. And it could have been anything. I guess that question that you asked isn't dire, and it is up to you. So anyway, have a wonderful week. Really make an intention for the new moon on the 19th. Depending on where you are in the world, it could be the 20th if you're in England. And make sure that it's a positive, intention. Write it down, write it down. When you write something down, you make it tangible. And focus on that. Focus on what's working in your life. Create something. When you're in creation, you can't be in deprivation, right? So this is the only gentle guidance that you have this week, really, is look at change as an adventure, embrace the change, and focus on what's working as opposed to, and if you sit down and you create something, you're going to have some brilliant ideas. And, because the Queen of Swords is brilliant ideas, right? Inspiration and brilliant ideas. And the Queen of Pentacles is manifesting that. I love you all, and I'll see you next week. For a personal reading, please email Mary at liveinthesolution.com.